message today is recipe for relationships. All right? Now, when you hear the word relationship, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Anyone? Boyfriend and girlfriend. How predictable is that? Okay. And I do believe that the Lord's message wants to touch on that end, but I think there's more to it than that. See, a relationship doesn't just consist of boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay? We're talking about a relationship, a close defining, meaningful relationship that is really hard to come by these days. All right? See, there are a lot of people that look for meaningful relationships, but there are very few who actually experience it. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you an example. You have the type of relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, right? That's the common one. That's the one everyone relates to that word. But I'm here to talk to you about a relationship as a best friend to somebody. Women are naturally drawn to other women. And you're looking at me and you're saying, but wait, that contradicts what you just said. No. That's because you're still thinking in the terms of boyfriend, girlfriend. See, I'm talking about women are naturally drawn to another woman. In the sense of when it's time to share those intimate secrets, when it's time to share those intimate thoughts, when it's time to cry, when it's time to express yourself, a woman is more drawn to another woman. But listen to this. For those guys who like hurting women, don't let your ego get too big. See, because a woman's first heartbreak actually happens because of another woman. You see, when you, as a woman, confide in what you call a best friend, and you share those intimate secrets, and you give that trust, but then that best friend betrays you, that hurt runs a lot deeper than what any man can hurt you. That is your first heartbreak. That is your first relationship. Following me? Men, you're not too far behind. But see, men are a different kind of species. And I'm going to tell you why they're different. See, a man won't open up as easily as a woman. Okay? Because a man, as he's making friends, he wants to see what the benefits are to him. That's where you get friends with benefits. That was created by man. Okay? You with me so far, right? But the same way you hear a woman, right, saying, why can't I, since you always relate the word relationship to boyfriend, girlfriend, when you say to yourself, why can't I find that good guy to be in a relationship with, could it be that maybe you first have to learn how to be a best friend to someone before you can actually have that experience? Same thing with guys. Guys, you want to make friends and see what the benefits are to you. You wonder why you don't get that good girl that you can have that relationship and take her to your house and show her to your mom. Well, maybe what you need to do is see what the benefit is for her to have you in her life rather than what the benefit is for you. This kind of relationship is not only necessary, but it should be sought after. It is something that you must seek. It is something that you must take in. Because this type of relationship, which is built on trust, will determine what kind of relationship you will have with another man, with a man, or woman, or man, what kind of relationship you will have with a woman. See, because if you can't exemplify trust to a friend, okay, that is confiding in you, then how can you exemplify that trust to someone you love? You need to learn from the very beginning. You need to learn the steps from the very beginning. Let me give you another example. A lot of times, you're searching for this type of relationship, or you get involved in a relationship, a best friend relationship, because if you listen to some of the way people speak nowadays, everyone, that's my girl, that's my boy. Is that really your girl? Is that really your boy? Or is it just for that moment? See, best friends, when you say best friend, if you're going to utilize that term, then you need to ensure that you're talking about a lifelong relationship. Not something that is going to be temporary or just for the moment. But not only that, you have to understand, women value relationships a lot more than men do. And I'm a man standing here and I'm saying that. Women value, why? Women grieve more. Women grieve more. Women hurt more, not because of the things that were said, but the fact of actually who said it and now who they're losing. If you're going to search for a best friend, why don't you start in your own house? Have you been a best friend to your own brother? Have you been a best friend to your own sister? I'm going to take it a little bit further. Have you been a best friend to your own mother? What makes you think that there aren't things that your mother needs to speak about? What makes you think that your own mother can't hear the things you have to say? Because there is no greater love than a mother's love. There is no betraying there. So if you want to seek a best friend, why don't you start in your own household? Just a thought. Which brings me to a story in the Bible, which I think exemplifies what friendship is. It's the story of Jonathan and David. Jonathan is the son of King Saul, right? King Saul despised David. Why did he despise David? Because David was becoming very popular. David was the chosen one, okay? So here is the king who could not stand his son's best friend. What a situation to be in. But Jonathan knew the true meaning of best friend. He knew the true meaning of friendship. He did not betray David. In fact, he gave him the robe off his back, his shield, his sword, and everything else. How many of you can say that you, as a best friend, are willing to give up your protection for a friend? David dealt with a lot of things. David had to deal with King Saul wanting to have him killed. Jonathan was put in a really tough situation. Do I disobey my father? Or do I stick to what I know is true? And he defended David. Jonathan defended David. Despite how his father felt. Despite what his father wanted done. Despite the fact that Jonathan was actually giving the throne to David. Something that he was in line to inherit. He was willing to give it all, or to a friend. We call ourselves friends to many people, but we are not willing to give it all. It goes back to, what benefit is it to me before I hand it to you? What benefit would it be to me to give you what I have? What do I gain? That's not friendship. Because if you're still saying, what benefit is it to you? You're pointing to yourself. But what you need to do as a friend is look at who should be first. In every relationship, there's sacrifice. You have to be willing to sacrifice. It says, love isn't the only fruit of true relationships. A relationship consists of sacrifice too. Sacrificing your own personal desires, sacrificing your own personal gains for someone else. Jonathan did that with David. Jonathan stripped himself of his robe, I tell you that. He gave him what he had. He gave his protection. He put it all on the line. Because he believed, because he knew what he had. He knew the value of true friendship. The word says in 1 Samuel 20:17, Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. That is exactly how you need to think about the friend that you call best friend. You have to love that individual the way you love yourself. As a matter of fact, you need to love that individual more than you love yourself. That is the key there. You wonder why you don't get that good guy. You wonder why you don't get that good girl. That's because you haven't learned the value of a relationship. You can't obtain something if you don't have the ingredients to make it. You can't expect to be blessed with a good man or a good woman if you can't even be a good friend. Do you know what's a good friend? Do you know what a true friend is? A true friend is loyal. Loyalty is a mark of true friendship. The same way Jonathan stood up against his father for David, do you stand up for your best friend when your other best friend is talking about her? Or are you adding more fuel to the fire? Are you taking in and feeding into what they're saying about your best friend. See, because a true friend is it's a defense against all those who are speaking about your best friend. If you're a true friend, then you are a line of defense against others that are speaking about her or him.